This is Jeremy Wentworth Stanley. I'm the fellow who has a hyphen in my name. The hyphen is silent, but I am anything but that. Wherever you may be, morning, light, daytime, evening, in your car, we're going to be talking today about vision. Vision is extremely personal. It's individual. And the reason I am doing this podcast, this discussion, solo, is in fact directly to reflect the importance of vision being a solo, a personal, an undertaking that we make with ourselves. The word vision is, interestingly, is the same root as the word idea. It comes from the Greek idein, to see, which is where you see idea, and in the word vision, it's actually a combination of Greek and Latin. But the point of the matter is, when we have a vision, then we can embrace an idea. And I want to talk about vision from this very personal point of view. King Solomon, believe it or not, he said that when you have a vision, it should be done with restraint. And that restraint means two things, really. Number one, you're not just going to go out and brandish it around because it's an intensely personal jewel that you can not keep to yourself, but it doesn't need to be just sort of arbitrarily spread around. But the other part to it is this: with restraint means that we're going to look at how we bring the vision together very gently from all the things that are around us. It's got a sort of restraining sense that we're just going to be careful to bring them in. I went through a number of words that would actually explain or would come to grips with this word vision. I thought of ethereal. I thought of celestial, spiritual, aspirational, intentional, inspirational again, ideal, natural, cultural, rational, physical, universal, reverential, mental, memorial, political, practical, total, and vocational. And you might think, why on the earth am I regaling all those words? Because what we need to do in order to come to our personal vision of what we want our lives to be, what we have a vision for other people's lives, a vision for the community, a vision for the nation, a vision for the world, a vision for the universe, whatever that vision may be, that vision needs to be run through each of these words. Now, these words, I've just rattled them off. I am going to have them set up on the Respectonomics website because they are words that help us to come to grips with what filter, what prism am I using to come to grips with or to understand my personal vision. One of the words that I use in, and I don't know if you've noticed, by the way, all the words end in AL. You've got reverential, mental, memorial, they all end in AL. And that may sound a little pedantic, but the point of the AL is this. The AL is a suffix, it's what it's called in English, and it means it refers to a particular subject. It connects to it. So if you say aspirational, for example, it's the idea of what refers to aspiration. And why that's important is this. The vision is in fact total. It's total in the sense that it's complete, but it is also total in the sense that it derives its strength and its validity from each of these places. In other words, everything that we do, whether we work, whether we rest, whether we play, whether we lead, whether we follow, we want that vision to be integrated into all of those activities. In other words, it's total. So that's where we want the vision to be. Very personal, AL, very personal, and at the same time total. And what you need to do then is add up the names, the titles, the filters that you like to use. Some people will say that it's a vision has a spiritual basis to it. Other people will say it has a political undertone to it. But whatever your tone is to build you to this final vision, where's a very interesting exercise is to put a weighting on each of those components of bringing you to the vision. So you might say, for example, 50% of it is inspirational, 30% is mental, 10% is memorial. Memorial, by the way, means recognizing the past that has brought us to where we are. But when you do that, you put this weighting against each one, and the answer at the end of it should be 100%. And if you've got 100%, that is ideal. Idea with an L on the end, ideal. So we need that 100% commitment, that buy-in to those filters and those prisms that bring us to this point. Now, you've got a vision, you've got restraint, you know where you are, but here's the wonderful truth about a vision. Once you have a vision, I'll give you one clue. The respectonomics vision is dignity. That's it, dignity. Because in that one word dignity, we develop the concept of the worthwhile, the value that we can attribute to other human beings, to our families, to our nation, to our universe, to our environment, to the stars, to the moon. You can let your mind go loose where that dignity is going to apply. But by giving ourselves a very straightforward, very consolidated, very concise vision, that then takes us into the meat and potatoes of respectonomics, which is that compass point. The compass point is the one that says, points to where do I want to go. If I have a vision, then I can pick up the compass and say, that's where I want to go. I can be internally honest with myself. Who am I? Where have I been? Where am I now? Where am I going? But by having the vision almost in the first place is a wonderful activity. Now, here's something that's almost terrifying about this word vision. Here I am talking about a vision. And I know that in my business career, and I will only talk about mine and let you talk about yours, but in my over 50 years with one single employer, not once was I asked what my vision was. And nor was I particularly asked, specifically asked, what was my vision for the organization. Now, I want to embellish on this. If you have a vision, it's very personal. If a business has a vision, you might call it a corporate vision. And the reason that word corporate is so important is corporate means a body. It means the body of a vision. It means that there are several of us who have come to this common vision. And here is the best vision that we can have, whether it's of a business, whether it's of a corporation, whether it's of a government, a nation, whatever, is when we are asked, what is your vision? And it might be your vision for personal, you might be asked your vision for the country, you might be asked what is your vision for the community you live in, but whatever it is, by asking us as individuals what is our vision, we can then collate those visions, we can bring them together, we can collaborate, combine them, and come out with a singular vision that is powerful, is authentic, and is true. You really think about it for a second. If we agree that a vision is personal, what right does any organization have to say, and by the way, our vision is whatever it is? No, you need to understand my vision and collate it with others, bring us together. I'm not going through the process of how that would be done. I'm merely putting out a straightforward question. What is your vision? This business then of the personal and the corporate has been, I think, explored. But there's one other part to the personal vision that I want to bring and sign off on. If you think of your own, where you live, where you work, where you play, even your garage, your warehouse, your barn, whatever it might be, we often hear the expression interior decorating. And an interior decorator will work with what you already have, the things that are already in place. So when we when we come together to agree on a vision and a personal vision, the first thing we should do is be like an interior decorator and look within ourselves and say, these are the things that we have, these are the parts we want to put together. And you know how you move a table around and you move a light around and so on. Well, we can move things around in our own lives to produce this vision. But being an interior decorator is one of the ways to be able to look at ourselves and to come, to be honest, with what we have, whether it's in body, whether it's in mind, whether it's in spirit, wherever we are. We have the ability to be interior decorators for ourselves. Some of us will say, gosh, I can't quite find out what I've got. And that's when we go for therapy. We go for outside counsel, outside help. And that help may end up doing literally just identifying what our parts are, what we've got available, but they may also do some interior design work. Interior design work is when you expand your kitchen, you remodify your warehouse, whatever it is. It takes it into another level of expertise, really. What we're talking about is here that the interior decorator is yourself and looking at ourselves of what parts do I bring to the table, whether it's my education, whether it's my sense of humor, whether it's my compassion, whether it's the things I'm not good at, whether it's my blind spots, but to be able to bring these to the table. Be an interior decorator, look at yourself. If we need to repurpose ourselves, that's what we'll do. But we will be the ones to authenticate the vision. It is personal, it's private, it's under restraint, but at the same time, it can be and should be made available to be shared with and to be colluded with other people. Then we have a joint vision, and we have then the premise for prosperity, for hope, and for great, great success in the future. Be an interior decorator, look at yourself, buy your own vision, into your own vision, and let your vision be yours. I rest my case.